No, I couldn't dance for another.
I like that. That's a good little intro, I think. Everybody, welcome to our weekly show, the Healthy Trinity, where we highlight one of our extra special, amazing transformations. So as you come on, everybody, I just want you to say hello, leave a comment, tell us where you're coming in from, be interactive. If you have questions, hey man, we've got answers. So we like this to be interactive. So say hello when you pop in. But anyway, this week I just had to have on one of my good friends, Monica, or Miss Monica, or Manifesting Monica, however you want to call it. That's what she is. She is amazing. She has an incredible story. She has an incredible transformation, you guys. I don't know if you saw my post earlier today about her with her transformation, but it's just incredible. So what I want to do, first of all, before we bring Monica on, is I want to go, those of you who haven't seen her transformation, I'm going to show you a little video I put together just to highlight some of her accomplishments. So let's go ahead and roll that, Monica. Well, there she is. There it goes. That is amazing. So, all right, Monica, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being on here.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for having me. I've seen some of your guests and they've been really, really inspiring. So I'm honored to be here.
Well, I appreciate it. You are one of those inspiring people, and everybody's about to find out how inspiring you truly are. So let's just jump right into this, Monica. I am curious. I want to know, and I'm sure everybody out there wants to know your story. So can you go ahead and share with everybody Monica's story?
Yeah. Well, I think it's a story that a lot of people can relate to. Beginning from 8 years old, I was overweight. My earliest memories are going to the doctor's office with my parents and tipping the scales at 150 pounds, even at 8 years old. And doctors always talking to me about my weight. It didn't matter what ailment I actually came into the doctor for. They constantly talked to me about my weight. So it was an issue. It was always in my face, but I didn't do anything about it. So 12 years old, 15 years old, all the way up into adulthood, as I got older, my weight just kept going up to the point where I was about 32, where I was at that point as round as I am tall. So the standard measuring tape is 60 inches around, Joshua. I don't know if you know this. I found this out. I didn't 60 inches around. So I remember this specifically because the first time I went to measure around my waist, it didn't go around me, meaning like my waist was bigger than it. I was approximately 63 inches. That's how I figured that, because it was like this far away from closing. And I'm 64. So I'm like literally as round as I am tall. And I just was so limited on all my options. What car I could drive, because I had to fit in the driver's seat, what restaurant booth I could fit into, what clothing I could wear, what types of jobs I could do, what types of people wanted to be around me. Like my whole life was limited. And while I always was like optimistic and fun, it was in the background. And then there were those nuances, those little tiny, or those moments when, say, I was in the grocery store and I'm walking down the aisle and somebody would walk like back out of the way because I was so big. They wanted to it would become obvious how like it wasn't normal how big I was, right? name calling, being called Free Willy, job opportunities being passed over. Always in the background was shame, discomfort, disgust, and prayer. I would always pray that God would just somehow make me pretty one day, just somehow. And I think I just got to a point where I was just like so sick and tired of myself and just found this resolve to just get started. And 170 pounds was the task at that point. And it felt like eating an elephant, but I was good at eating. So I was up for the task. And so I adopted a mindset of 10 pounds at a time, found this amazing program that helped me work through that. Fast forward, it's been 10 years now. It took me 4 years to lose that weight. I've kept it off for 6 years. Fast forward, there's no more guilt. There's like lots of confidence, totally different me. Life is totally different as far as options are concerned. Like lots of options.
Yeah.
It's definitely a whole new world.
That that new world has to be extremely freeing for you because of your options, because of what you're able to not have to worry about buying 2 plane tickets or what kind of car you're gonna have to drive, or that free willy. I mean,
Yeah.
that has to be not only just good for your body to feel that way, but to also not have to worry about that kind of stuff. So what did that do for you? What did that do
So
for
like
you, losing that?
when they said that, the Free Willy, I actually was like, they're talking about me. Like it was instinct, like they're talking about me. Now, walking down the street today, if somebody said Free Willy, I would look around like, who are they talking about?
Yeah.
Right. So like it's totally different. So I'm sorry, what was the question?
Oh, so yeah, what I was saying was, what does that do for you? What did that do for you being able to lose that weight? Physically. I'm talking physically right now. I know you said you have options, but what does that mean now? What does that mean to you?
Physically, I can move in ways I couldn't. Like tying my shoes, I'm not out of breath. Going downstairs, I used to like go one at a time and hold on to the rail, like for support,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, so I was super slow. I could not run a mile. I would not engage in certain activities for fear of embarrassment of what it would look like to actually be on the field or like play softball. Like, oh my God, am I going to hit the ball? Like, I can't run,
Yeah.
So now as far as options, like I can do any sport I want to. I'm not worried about the outfit. That was a big thing. Like, you're taekwondo, right? I don't want to say it wrong. I don't want to like
Martial arts, yeah.
martial arts, right?
Yeah.
Even the thought of putting on a gi, I would be like, is it going to fit me? And then that would like deter me from doing that sport. So, I mean, everything's changed because I'm not limited in like what I fit into, how I can move,
Mm-hmm.
how I feel when I'm actually going to be doing it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
incredible.
Wow. How does that translate now from the physical feeling? And I know you touched on it with, you were conscious about how is this going to look on me, or if I have to do the sport, is this going to work? How does that look? Tell me what that does though for your mind, though, for your mindset. What was it like before? And you said that, but now after, what were the biggest hurdles for you? Is I guess the meat of my question would be, what were the biggest hurdles for you for not doing this earlier? In your mindset, likewise.
There were lots of scripts that I had to flip. Lots of the feeling of deprivation, telling myself that I was feeling deprived, being very food focused, like, well, I've been good for 2 weeks, or gosh, it is Friday night, so I want to go to the pizza place, and this time I'll only have a beer. Not so I had all of these. It was feelings of deprivation, really. Like I was depriving myself, and that I deserved these foods. And so what I realized is that I was very food focused all the time, right? In celebration, in emotions, in daily activity, I was very food focused. And what I needed to become is me focused. So I always say instead of being food focused, I had to be you focused, meaning how did I want to show up though? Right? Like, yeah, I could
Mhm.
have the pizza right now, but how did I want to show up? Like the goal, like I kept sabotaging the goal for what I wanted right now. So the feeling of deprivation and then really adopting a delayed gratification mindset.
Mm.
That is a must. Like you must be able to sit right here, right now, and act according with what you want in the future. And that is a skill, and that's something that we learn.
Mm. So that's what's taken you to this point and being able to, because I mean, what did you say? 4 years? It took you 4 years?
Yep,
That's a long time. 4 years.
exactly.
So were
And
you able to just four
no,
years of delay from the stimulus to the response? Or is it was there more to it or just that 4 years of that?
yes, because guess what? There are more stimuluses than you think, right? There are
Mm-hmm.
so many stimuluses, so many stimuluses. And then that's the work because the stimulus is always going to be there. Work parties are a stimulus. Even at work, the pharmaceutical reps bringing stuff, that would trigger me because I'm like, this French pastry. Going to a friend's house if they had something on the table, somebody offering you something and you don't want to feel bad. These are all stimuluses and things that I had to work on. And so I didn't win every time. But what happened is the times that I would mess up, those were opportunities to be like, okay, well, what did I want to happen? And
Mm-hmm.
what will I do next time? And I had to practice this. And so I became okay with practicing for the next time. And like that's to this day, that is a skill. Like, okay,
Yeah.
that's what I did. What did I want to happen? What am I going to do next time? And I'm constantly trying to make these little progressions because eventually they compound. And then you're like, dude, I'm so good at that. I'm so good at that. Where before you sucked at it, you know?
Yeah. I got it. I'm good with that. I could do it.
Yeah, I'm good with that one. So like certain things would trigger me. Like I mentioned, tortilla chips at a restaurant, huge trigger. Not a trigger anymore. I know what to do. Sometimes I say, don't bring them to the table. No, we don't need them. Sometimes they bring them to the table because and I've done this was actually a friend of mine said, kill it. If it comes to the table, just kill it. And that meant
Mm.
splash water on it, throw some like
Um,
ranch all over it. So like it's not even good anymore. You know what I
uh,
mean? Or have a couple of bites and then ask them to take it away. I mean, there's just so many tools, strategies in that one little situation that I've learned. You know what I mean? So that takes time to
yeah.
develop. You know, that
Yeah.
takes time. And
Yeah.
people don't give it that time. People don't give
Th-
it that time.
this is true. I've heard people tell me plenty of times, well, I just need to get the discipline. Where are you going to get it from?
We're
We
gonna
going to
buy
go to the
it
store
at
and
the
buy it?
discipline store.
Yeah. There's a discipline store that you can go pay $9.99. It's on sale this week, by the way, 2 for 1.
$9.99.
But you don't just get the discipline. It is a learned behavior. And over time, this is what becomes our routine and it becomes our habits. And so that's why when people tend to have their episodes where temptation overcomes them and they react to it, you have to be able to give yourself grace, right? It's a learned experience. Fine, lessons learned. I'm going to remember this. Like you said, I'm going to remember this for next time so that I know I'm going to file it away and I'm going to, when this comes up again, I know how to deal with it. And so we have to pay attention to those things. And that's what we don't do enough. I don't think we don't pay enough attention to those triggers. So, you talked a lot about temptation triggers and things like that. Now, that brings up something else that I want to see. what your take on this is how you dealt with not just temptation, but emotional triggers when it came to improving your health and staying on track. How did you deal with those?
In the same way, literally becoming aware of them. And it's a practice. Asking myself how I wanted to show up.
Mhm.
Because what I used to say is that I'm a volcano. And I used to say, I'm Latina. Like, dude, I didn't grow up in like Susie Homemaker's home. Like, no, I say the F word a lot. Jesus still loves me though. It's cool. Like, I'm from Whittier, so like that should tell you a lot of things, you know? Like, and I just had all these reasons for why I was the way that I was. Um, and that's just not true at all. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And so it was just, who did I want to be? And then every time an emotional trigger would come up, the kids, the spouse, job, somebody saying something to me feeling rejected in some way, I would have to say, okay, how am I going to show up? Am I going to blow up and curse and yell at you? Am I going to go to the corner store and get Ben and Jerry's, like 4 of them?
Yeah.
Or am I going to go to the bar and sit there and have some whiskey and just chill out and decompress that way? Am I going to go shopping to try and numb and make myself feel pretty again and distract myself? And exercising how I wanted to show up every single time is how I practice the emotional management. So I will say, as I was practicing, so I was like, oh, I don't want to drink, but then I was shopping. Well, I don't want to shop, but then I'm like doing other things. Well, I don't want to do that. And so it kept flipping, right? Like it kept the new thing that I would go to kept switching. So I wasn't even really dealing with it. I was just like switching. So I'm to the point now where I had to realize there's nothing outside of me that's going to fulfill me. So when the triggers come up, I literally have to, what we learn, stop, challenge, and choose. And it's like, okay, what's a better emotion? And like, how can I be grateful? And the first thing I go towards now in an emotional situation is, thank God I freaking know how to think this way. Freaking pissed as all hell right now. Thank God I know how to think this way. So what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? Instead of saying, God damn it, if only they, and why, and which is, and
Oh,
then there would
yes.
be the thing. Now I'm like, what can I do? And that is so powerful because it's not out of my control.
Yep.
And I'm a control freak.
Yep.
Well,
It's keeping the power with you. Yeah. And so that satisfies the control freakness in you.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's in such a healthy way. It's in such a healthy way that we can decide the outcome of this. Am I going to yell? Am I going to scream? Am I going to get upset? Or am I going to just
Am I going to
figure
shop?
out?
Am I going to go drink? You know what I mean? So all along the way, like unraveling what I was doing, that's what's happened in 6 years. Like, so again, I really want people to know that you can lose the weight. I lost the weight long time ago,
Yeah,
but the journey continues. The journey to real health continues.
this is
For sure.
true. It is never ending. We got a question here from Sabrina. It says, how do you handle when you're out with your friends who aren't as focused on health as you?
That's a good question. I hate to say it, but sometimes avoidance is the easiest thing, right? You just don't go. The other thing is to make a pact with yourself as to what you will do. I've gone out with unhealthy friends and just made an agreement with myself that this is going to be my day this month that I'm going to whatever. I'm a whiskey and waffles girl. So I might make an agreement with myself that I'm going to have 2 whiskeys as opposed to 5.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But I also make the negotiation that I'm okay with going with them on this day because it falls into my whole month's plan. So I plan ahead. But I have to say, like, honestly, for me, going out with girlfriends is a huge trigger.
Yeah.
It is a huge trigger. It brings back memories. It's nostalgic. It's a lot of things. So most times with the girlfriends that aren't in alignment, I make an agreement with myself to just go ahead. But I've planned for that. And then I plan on what going ahead means when I'm there. And I just try my best to stick to it. Because when I drink, it is a slippery slope. And I'm for sure going to eat tacos after.
I mean, yeah, I agree. I'm gonna eat tacos too.
So
um,
I'm so
yeah.
sorry. Like the easiest thing for me though is avoidance.
Yeah.
And so it's just that I don't go out with them as much.
Okay. I I totally can understand that because it is very tough. One of the tactics I use for this, and I'm just going to throw this in here, is that um, I talk to people, I talk to my friends about what my goals are. I tell them, like, look, I'll go out, but I really need you to understand I'm not going to drink tonight. I really need you to understand I'm not getting tacos with you afterwards because I really, really want this for myself. I want this goal. I'm working hard and I don't want to go down the slippery slope. Um, and just try to have more understanding about what it is I'm doing, how this program works, and just talk to them more about it. Because
Yeah.
if they are your friends, they're going to want you to win. They want you to win, right? And if they are not, that's when I go to the avoidance. All right, fine. I'm not going out. I'm not going to put myself in that position right now. We'll go out in 6 months. We'll go out in whatever when I'm better at establishing these newer habits that I'm trying to implement. So um, I've had experience where it's avoidance and it's trying to have more understanding about what I'm doing. So thank you for that comment, Sabrina. We appreciate that. If anybody does have questions, you can comment. I will put them up here and we'll answer. So
Yeah.
again, make
One
this
more
interactive.
thing that I'd like to add to that, just real quick, is that another thing that I do is I keep myself on a time schedule. So if I do go, I'm like, I will stay here for 2 hours because I know in those 2 hours I can navigate, right? But then once it gets a little bit later and they get more intoxicated, then that's when they're more like, come on, even though I've already told them, you know what I mean? So I'm like, you know what,
Yes.
I can go from 2 to 4 and then I'm gonna leave. And then you can do it, then you can do it all.
You
You know
do
what I mean? So
whatever
there
you
is that
want to
option
do.
too.
You do all the shots you want when I'm gone. Perfect. Um, so one more question on this topic too is, we talked about stop, challenge, and choose, and keeping our goals in mind when we are faced with a stimulus of what am I going to do? Am I going to fly off the handle here and be pissed off at everybody right now? Am I going to choose tacos right now, or I'm going to choose something healthier? And it all stems from that delay in your response, correct?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
How does that translate to relationships with people for you now that you are establishing that as your normal of how you handle things? How does that translate to relationships for you?
Hmm. So there is the stop and the challenge and then the choose. So we have to get really good at the gap. Stop and then the challenge. The challenge is that gap. So it's like there's the stimulus and then how I'm going to respond. So if in a relationship, if I'm stimulated in a way that's negative, I can feel it. I get hot, I get like anxious, I'm gonna wanna like, or I know what I feel like, right? When I'm stimulated negatively.
Mm-hmm.
So most times I will choose to not respond
Mm.
until I'm in a different state. And then
Yes.
I can think more clearly. So stop, challenge, and choose is applicable in so many ways of life in your life. I want to just add will, skill, and thrill.
Hmm.
Because you have to have the willpower to start using stop, challenge, and choose. You have to have the willpower to start anything. But that willpower will then turn into skills, such as stop, challenge. It's a skill that I use in every aspect now, even in finances. Do I want to buy that? Is that adding to my? No. Yes. It's so applicable. So you have to have the willpower to start utilizing it, and then it will become a skill, and then you will be thrilled at how you can like steer your boat through all of these things, right? So like the will, skill, thrill factor comes. This is the discipline that people say, I just need to get. Yeah, you just need to grow it. You just need to build it.
Hmm.
It only will be built and grown through practice.
Yep.
So even in my relationships, if I'm stimulated negatively, I'm choosing to just sit for a second and I work through it. And you can ask anybody in my family how different the volcano Monica is, compared to today. I just had this conversation and it's like galaxies different because of stop, challenge, and choose, because I've had the will to create this skill and I'm thrilled with that.
That's good stuff. If you didn't write that down, everybody should write that down. That is one of the things that is going to take your understanding up here, take your outcomes to the next level, because now you're choosing to respond differently. So, again, if you didn't write that down, will, skill, thrill, write it down, put it on your bathroom mirror, write it in marker, not marker, but whatever.
They
Write
have
it
mirror
down.
markers.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Washable.
Yeah.
That is amazing. So now tell me where you moved into the realm of your health when it comes to now you are a coach yourself, correct? You have amazing clients. You have amazing people that you're now helping. Tell me how that has benefited you. What has that done for you in the realm of your own health and understanding of health? And then the other aspect of it with, how does that help you as far as, or benefit you, I should say, as far as like your finances and things?
Well, it's benefited me in like as a person in that everything that I was learning, in order to solidify that learning experience, and anytime you learn anything, you have to seek out the knowledge, then you have to do it, and then you have to teach it. This is how you learn anything. Look, when I went to ultrasound school, I had to seek out a school, I had to go to curriculum, then I had to do my applications before I could actually go out into the world, right? This is how we learn stuff. Learn, do, teach.
Yes.
So everything that I learned, I now had the opportunity to share with somebody else and kind of regurgitate the information as, in essence, teaching. What I found was that I was teaching people that were so, like, just in my mind, amazing, professional, like smart, seemed to have it all together. And then they would say to me, like, wow, the way you think about this stuff is just amazing. And I'm like, but I'm not that brilliant yet, though. You could learn this too, like come into this and then do what I did, like learn it, do it, and then just share it. And like you could go through the same thing. And people say, like, well, that's a coach's thing. And I'm like, but I was a client first and I'm still a client. So like you're a client, I'm a client, like it's the same thing. So being a coach enabled me to learn and keep solidifying this new foundation. The finances that come along with it were unexpected and totally an added benefit, of course, to my financial health, but
Mm-hmm.
also to my lifestyle, like maintaining my lifestyle. Because let me just say this, when you add money to the pot, at least in my brain, now it's different. Like I'm getting paid to work out. I'm getting paid to drink my water. I'm getting paid to personally develop myself. I'm getting paid to be a good scheduler. I'm getting paid to be a good listener. How do you beat that? How do you beat that? I work online. I do not have to worry about a pandemic. I have met people across the country at all walks of life. I didn't have that when I was stuffed in a cubicle as an
Right.
ultrasound tech. Whole new life when you get into coaching for you and for what it will do to like the sustainability of your health. There's money involved for you to stay healthy. Like that's crazy. For you to have habits, it's not even a product, it's a mindset. I get paid to think differently. And they taught me that.
Right? That right there is money. And no pun intended, that's money right there, what you just said. I get paid to drink my water. I get paid to have healthier habits. I get paid to help other people have healthier habits. I'm not selling anything.
I'm not
We're
selling anything.
promoting
I'm
health.
selling will, skill, thrill. Like,
Yeah.
yo, what do you have will to change? Okay, cool. Let's get skilled with that so we can be excited. Yay. And then we're going to move on to the next one. Okay, what do you
Yeah.
have will to change now? Let's get skilled at that. And then we can be, okay, yay. What's the next one? And
That's it. That is it.
So simple and so hard,
I hear you.
especially if you're doing it alone. And I know
Right.
that because I was sitting there by myself and I was praying every night that God would make me pretty.
You already did. You already were.
It's hidden. It's so hidden.
Right. Good stuff, Monica. Thank you so much. So again, if you guys haven't been taking notes, go back, watch this again, take some notes. If you have any piece of advice now, Monica, I know probably the last 30 minutes you've been giving people advice on all this stuff, but one last bit for anybody that's like, I really want something different. I really want to do it, but I'm just not sure. I don't think it's the right time. Or they have something holding them back. Give them a last bit, 30 seconds, encourage them something to take the leap. Go.
I didn't come up with this wisdom. One of my coaching partners, Tracy Dugan, gave this to me that there are 3 fears: fear of deprivation, fear of missing out, and fear of failure that are going to stop you. And I just want to tell you that you will never blow through past those 3 fears until you get started. The great thing about this opportunity is that you will see results right away, immediately, within 4 days. You will not be alone. You will not have to do this by yourself. So you're going to have support. And with those 2 things alone, and if you give this a week or 2, you will start to see that it is vastly different and so encompassing or comprehensive better to everything that you're looking for. You will realize really quickly that you did not make a mistake. So get out of your fear. Those 3.
There you go. Get out of your fear. Get out of your fear and get out of your fear. That's just it. We stand in our own way a lot of the times, and we don't really have a great reason for standing in our way. We just do. Fear of what? What are you missing out? Missing out on what? A better life. Okay, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, be you focused.
Mhm.
I want to have a better life. I want to show up confident AF in this situation. I
Mhm.
want the cookie. Guess what? You just threw away what you were going for the
Exactly.
cookie. Cookie's going to always be there. I'm not always going to be 42.
That's right. So true. All right, Monica. Well, thank you so much for this. Again, if anybody's looking for something different, if they're looking for change, if you're looking for a way to change your body, change your mind, change your finances, something better, something healthier, you can always reach out to me. You can always reach out to Monica, reach out to any of the people that I've had on this program here. We'll get you started. We'll get you going towards those goals. Monica, thank you so much for everything. You've been amazing, and I'd love to have you on, and we can do this again. Okay.
Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity.
All right, everybody. We will catch you next week. Time to be determined, but Tuesday, Transformation Tuesday for sure. All right, everybody, take care and have a great week.
Bye.